Hello there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba.
And I'm Dog from Struggle Nation.
Man, why are there's such a delayed reaction?
Because I thought you were gonna say more.
Speaking of reactions, hashtag Struggle Nation. Go check out their YouTube channel if you haven't checked it out already. What are you guys at? 420,000 subscribers?
About to hit 420.
Hell yeah, that's a great number.
Yeah, it really is.
It's
it
a
really is.
great
celebrate.
number. I don't know how.
Damn it.
I get it. So
LA has gotten to you.
Yeah, it really has. All the fame. And we're gonna watch this video from Quarter Crew.
Hell yeah.
VFX artists react to bad and great CGI number 11.
Yes.
I met these guys actually.
You did?
Yeah, and the last time you were here, we did a reaction on their videos.
Yeah.
And then I met most of them at an event. And
Nice.
they were very, very kind people. And a few of them were like, yeah, I saw your reaction. So
Yes.
yeah, they're awesome. They're great dudes. Smooth transition to this one. Drew has a short film on his channel, guys.
Oh, yeah, yes I do. Yes I do.
I
It's
didn't-
called Dead by Dawn. It's an Evil Dead short horror film. We shot it in one night. $200 budget. Definitely go check it out.
Seriously, I really enjoyed it a lot. If you like horror, like gory stuff, if you like Evil Dead, I think you'll really enjoy this. I did a reaction to it for his channel. Was definitely surprised by some stuff that went down in that. Some great effects as well. Speaking of effects-based artists.
Yes. Smooth transition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Extra special guest surprise.
Whoa.
So there's some things that you really have to consider when you're shooting.
I
like
met
this.
them
Do
at
you
the
want me to
Gemini
blow
Man
your mind
screening.
further?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Curious to know what they thought of
Hey,
it.
welcome back to another episode of VFX Artist Reacts. Today, we are going to watch some really cool clips, and we got an extra special guest surprise.
Don't click that X button. This is from Solo, a Star Wars story, and there's something really interesting about this sequence. One is like, it's a pretty sweet train heist sequence and all that, but it ends in a very climactic way. Here, let's just watch it.
Wow, I don't remember this movie.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
Oh, that's neat.
What's actually cool about this shot is that everything is fake except for the explosion.
Wait, this real?
It was actually inspired by our good friend Gavin from the Slow-Mo Guys. So what they did was they actually took a phantom camera, they 3D printed the mountain and put it in a giant fish tank, and they shot it something like 45 different times and from different angles. So what you're seeing are real air bubbles within water wrapping around the edges of the mountain. So
Oh,
it's
holy
like a perfect
crap.
simulation of a shot because it is flawless simulation. It's
I
reality.
love that they used real elements.
That is salty waterfall level cool. Like, that is awesome.
Right? Speaking of using real elements, there's a robot in this movie that was basically a real robot filmed on set. It's the same thing they did on Game of Thrones. They would have like this crazy looking skeleton dude with like a green screen leg, and they would just remove the leg. Here's the thing about all of this though. They go through all the trouble erasing out all of the internals, and they're like, we're gonna keep all of the actual costume bits in, and then we remove the green screen, then we fill in all the internal bits. And then we replace the entire costume.
Yeah. Sometimes full CG is actually easier than combining real and CG together. If you can just render it all in CG and have it work together, the lighting and the shadows, it might just be faster.
Plus, it probably ends up looking better with the actual like matte
How
paintings of the
interesting.
environment and all that stuff. You can see the biggest changes are the actual reflections of the sky on the machine itself. She could have just been wearing a mocap suit rather than the actual robotic suit, but it does
Damn.
put her, one, in a better mindset for acting like a robot, and two, the best lighting reference you can possibly have.
So this is just a very high budget version of Bird
Pros
Up
and
that we're
cons.
showing
Yeah.
television.
You got some poppy seed in your mouth. Power up.
This is an example of a lot of great reference on set, but ultimately it gets replaced with a CG model. And so another robot that also looked great, but was done very practically, is a robot from I Am Mother. And I think we should take a look at
Oh,
that.
right, yeah.
Did you know there were people out there?
I'm as surprised as you.
There's a droid here.
I still really want to see that movie. It looked really cool.
Dude, you knew we were going to talk about this. How have you not seen it yet?
Oh, it's out?
Netflix.
Doing research.
Get him out of here. I haven't seen Solo of this shot.
Wow. Yeah, get him out
Alright,
of
let me
here.
fire up my new teleportation spell. And we're gonna get somebody here who has seen I Am Mother. Hi.
Subscribe.
Whoa. Sorry to do this to you so abruptly.
I recognize all of this. Am I in a VFX Artist React
You are.
episode right now?
You are. And for those of you who don't know, this is Grant Spatore, the director of I Am Mother.
So just
Oh,
to be
cool.
clear,
Okay.
Clint hasn't seen it. So have you seen it though?
Way too many times. Yeah, but I am very happy to comment on anything that you need me to talk about.
So the robot in I Am Mother, you guys put together a suit that is by far one of the best practical robot suits I've ever seen.
Oh,
But
nice.
You also have some CG robot shots.
Yeah, it's almost
was the secret of the film, because we really wanted to celebrate practical effects when we were making this. But when you're making a low-budget film, there were a bunch of things that the script called for that we couldn't let the suit do.
Wait, how many suits did you have?
One.
You only had one suit?
One suit.
Well, what happens if you broke the suit?
End of movie. End
No.
of movie. Cancel. Let's take a look at some shots from the film and see if you can tell what's CG and what's real. Mother, chilling. The babies in this film get born in 24 hours. Just an easy bake oven for babies.
So that real baby was interacting with that robot there. So maybe the hands are practical and
Yeah, I think
then
it
like
was
the whole chest
practical.
is computer generated?
CG robot with baby? You can't get babies to act.
It's true. I can vouch for that.
Oh, now it's no longer a baby, it's a little girl.
Oh yes,
Growing
it's changing.
up.
That looks real to me because of how it's moving, like the slight jiggles and stuff. It's hard to get that right.
The little girl's obviously CG as well. Good job on the face value.
Throughout
watch
that whole
this movie.
sequence of shots, it's all real.
There's one shot that made me think like, okay, that was pretty dang real. It was the close-up on the wrist. You get the really nice detail in the highlights and scratches and stuff.
See, what's interesting is that shot is completely real, but another shot that's equally tight and close is actually CG.
Really?
Yeah. Credit to the VFX guys at Finn. They built the CG mother after we made the real mother. So it's all about photo scans
cool.
and
Smart.
like LiDAR scanning mother.
Okay, why would you choose to have the baby holding on to a CG hand rather than a practical hand?
In this instance, you got a better performance from the baby when the baby was interacting with her real mother.
Oh, that makes sense.
There, she is looking at a robot. That's completely real.
Oh, wow.
So like
Okay,
it was changeable. Initially, we had the baby interacting with the robot with the head off. So like she understood that like the really sweet man that was playing Mother, Luke Hawker, was inside this bit of costume, and eventually we put the head on.
That's a cool
But
costume.
the shot where the baby gets put on the floor and you see Mother's feet, that's actually CG.
I actually thought that was real because the baby was interacting.
Yeah, no, that's CG.
So that shot's flawless.
Those things were going to sit side by
That's
side in this
impressive as
sequence and
shit.
throughout the whole film. The bar was set really high. It was basically realism. Like, it's got to look real. And the VFX guys got there.
So, okay, even sitting down at the table there, I actually thought that was a real shot, but that's a computer-generated shot now.
Yeah, so the original plan on shots like this were that, like, let's have the real suit and then just replace the hands. Like, let's have the hands go fast, right?
Yeah.
But it actually proved to be more difficult to get those arms to feel like they were locked to the body than it was to just completely replace Mother. And that was something that we felt increasingly confident doing. Tennis shoes. That's a story, that thing.
Wait, why is he in his underwear?
This was like the last day of second unit photography, and so there was nothing for Luke to wear, and so he was just going to do it in the clothes that he was wearing, but the VFX guys were like, it's all black. Like, in a dark environment, we can't see you. And then Luke, being the exhibitionist that he is like, what about skin? Like, would you be able to track and follow the
It would
skin?
also give great lighting reference as well.
On any other visual effects artist,
Damn, it looks so real. That's crazy.
Jeez.
That is
But
crazy.
this time, I'm going to flip it. How did you make the real suit look so CG?
It's ultimately about hiding the fact that there's a person in there, right? And you want the audience to suspend disbelief. And there's a bunch of tricks that we're doing to be able to do that. Mother's head is actually sitting a couple of inches above Luke's head, and that allows you to create these sort of cavities, like in around her neckline, that make it look like there's nowhere to hide a person. That took like 6 months, like to get worked out, like what exactly Mother looked like. I knew I always wanted her to look like a real robot.
The robot kind of reminds me of like the eventual evolution of the Boston Dynamics
Totally.
robot.
I want to see Clint in a mocap CG Mother suit. Like, that'd be great.
As a director on this project, how much of a difference do you think it would make having a practical versus a CG suit? What exactly are you seeing in the performance that changes?
Part of it is like everybody actually being on the same page and sharing the same reality, and that's like within the confines of the scenes.
That's such a good point. Sharing the same reality.
Can you describe to us what we're seeing with this weird, like,
I want to
farming
know all about this blue screen suit that you've developed.
Yeah, it kind of looks like, wow, this is a really high-end film where they've got a fancy blue version of Mother that they're using for CG. But this is actually a black foam suit that Weta built before they built the real suit as a test case.
But you still have the suit sitting around.
Exactly. And we just got a couple of cans of blue spray paint and we just spray painted it blue. Like, that's it. It's so important because when you've got that interaction from an actor, like, with what's ultimately going to become a CG thing, you need the terrain to sort of map.
Damn.
Are we getting spoiled here?
I hope not. I really hope not. I think I'm seeing too much.
Foggy tree sort of stuff. And I couldn't really see too much of the original beach in these shots.
All of the outside world is filmed on the same beach. Like, so when Clara reaches the beach, that's the same place where the bunker door is, right? But we used CG to kind of create the variety in the landscapes to make it feel like you've covered a greater terrain.
I think this movie is really showcasing a pretty big turning point in visual effects where you guys had a budget, but it's not a huge budget.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, you know, Netflix bought the film at Sundance. It was made completely independently. It was made in Australia, and we never had enough money. But we were working with VFX companies that were really skilled, really passionate, and really wanting to prove themselves.
Rand, it's amazing having you here.
It was amazing being here.
And if people want to kind of get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Instagram, at Grant Spitori.
Great. And do you want me to teleport you back to Australia?
That would be super convenient. It is a long flight.
All right, here we go. All right, Clint, get back over here. Is your foot okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, dude.
I got a great Instagram shot.
He's so
Speaking of Instagram, you can follow us
friendly.
at Corridor Digital. Go check it out. Should we do our Patreon one?
Oh yeah, dude, Patreon.
All right.
Patreon.
On Patreon, you can vote on what one of the videos will be that we
That was
react
dope.
This winner
I gotta see
came
that
out of
movie.
left
Yeah, I know.
field.
to. Space Jam.
Oh my God! I did not realize they're gonna cover
Michael
this.
Jackson. Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Yo, easy on the trousers, Dad. Easy.
Pardon me.
This is at the beginning of motion tracking, like camera tracking. Like the movies before that were still doing it manually, and they ended up kind of developing their own software to do all of the camera tracking. They filmed all of Michael Jackson.
Jordan.
Yeah. They shot any of their people on a green screen stage with red tracking markers, and then they recreated the entire court digitally.
wow!
Ready?
I'm set to take it to the rack, Jack. Those monsters wish they'd never been born.
This was the first time I remember seeing Looney Tunes with like proper shading as opposed to just the
Yeah.
classic
Yeah.
2D shading. The hand-drawn 2D drawings of each of the Looney Tunes characters is just one pass, flat lighting, right? Then they do a whole pass of like any shading. And they would be able to adjust that and blur it out where necessary if they needed to adjust the amount of directional lighting on them. It's pretty sweet. How do you think a cartoon character passes a basketball to a real-life person like Michael Jackson? Dang it.
Michael Jordan is maybe using a pretend basketball?
I think it's one of the first photo scans.
Oh, really?
They took hundreds of photos of this basketball from every possible angle and recreated it in 3D. Anytime the cartoon characters are dribbling around, they're dribbling a 3D rendered ball. And they made it look as close to the real ball that Michael Jackson was using on set. I did it again! I did it again!
That wasn't on purpose. If you guys have a movie or a show with some sweet visual effects, please leave a comment down below. We read them all. We actually have a really fun time going through all the comments, so please keep it up.
Let's take it from 1998 to the year 2019 here.
Whoa! Black
Turn on, man. Yes. Okay. Have you seen this yet?
Not yet.
Well, let's talk about Gemini.
This action seems
Gemini
great.
Man!
Me and you, man.
All right, so we just had a chance to see Gemini Man in theaters, all of us, in 3D at 120 frames per second.
Oh,
But
really?
Let's just say that I actually really enjoyed the action in this movie.
Where do you
And
see it like
the
that?
action
was
at?
the
The
best
frame rate
part.
was pretty cool.
That was what they were trying to do
Special
with
real
the Hobbit back in the
D-screen.
day. I wasn't the biggest fan of that kind of high frame rate on the Hobbit.
So you need to go
But
even
this
higher.
was
So you get
different.
100,000
So
more
there's some
subs.
things that
Oh,
you
okay.
really have to consider when you're shooting like
No
this.
problem.
I think Ang Lee dug down into it. When you're watching something that's 4K at 120 frames per second in 3D, you can tell when the actors are wearing makeup.
Did any of the actors wear makeup in
No.
this movie?
I mean, there's subtle makeup here and there. Traditional makeup is not present in this movie. But here's the thing, so fight scenes, right? When you can see every little bit of motion, you can tell when a stuntman's going to throw their face before the hand connects at 120 frames per second.
Oh, right.
You don't see that at 24. So these fight scenes, they need to actually go in and reanimate them so when somebody throws a punch, the face doesn't move until the hand is pushing the face. But you know what? We're digressing, because what the heck? Who's that? It's young Will Smith. Let's talk a little bit about some of the technology they had to do in Gemini Man to
Yeah.
get him to look real. You know I like talking about how pores gotta stretch.
Oh, yeah.
My pores stretch. My pores stretch. In Gemini Man, they didn't just take a texture with pores and like figure out how to stretch. They took the model and they had a procedural generation of pores on the face.
What?
If you look at the back of your hand, right, and you go like this, you'll see very fine wrinkles, and that's the platelets of your skin stacking up on top of each other. And so the procedural pores and the procedural platelets let them have the wrinkles follow the appropriate cracks and crevices to get exactly perfect micro wrinkles for the
kinda
skin.
scary.
Didn't Weta Digital do all the effects
Yes.
for this? What an
Weta-
effects company.
Yeah, anyways, shush. So wrinkles is important to get right, but skin tone is important to get right too. So once again, in CG graphics, you might just throw a texture on there, right? Not in this movie. They had melanin simulation.
What?
If you go like this, the blood gets pushed out of the parts of your skin that get squished or pushed back into it. Stop that, please. This is the kind of stuff you have to think about when you do the human face. It is not easy. And you want me to blow your minds even further? The shots with Gemini Man. They were motion capturing his entire body, and they rendered the entire body as a digital replacement.
The only problem I had with this movie was the motion of a lot of different things.
Same. The dirt bike.
If you're to pause on any of this, it looks flawless. But the motion is what doesn't work for me. Like that tail whip on the bike is like really quick.
So when things break the rules of gravity, like in this case the dirt bike, it's very subtle, but we can all tell that it doesn't feel right.
It just goes to show that I think motion is pretty much the hardest thing to get right.
He has to die. Use your darkness. You had to walk through this on your own.
Dear animators, stop moving the upper lip, please. Because there is no muscle going from your nose down to your lip to pull it straight up.
That's Gary's mud. That's not reality.
This one, his bottom lip is pushing his top lip up. It looks correct.
That looks, yeah.
There's another scene that he's just sitting there, he's listening, he's emoting, and his upper lip goes, and he like slides up and down as he's kind of like steering. And it's kind of a byproduct of morph targets and motion tracking, but it's not just Gemini Man. Anytime there's a CG face, if it looks fake, take a look at the upper lip and watch it slide up on its own, because there's no muscle there, and subconsciously you know it. And anytime the CG face does it, you really can tell it's fake.
Isn't that what we saw the deepfake do better with Princess Leia?
It is what we saw the deepfake do better with Princess Leia.
So couldn't you just do a deepfake on Will Smith and maybe fix the lip?
You know, I'm glad you asked, friend. We want to do a deepfake of Will Smith.
Whoa!
It took us a while, but we actually found a really, really, really good Will Smith impersonator.
Super nice guy.
Take a look at this. I think it's one of the best Will Smith deepfakes you've ever seen.
You may have seen our Tom Cruise deepfakes, our Keanu Reeves deepfakes, and we've been perfecting the technology, and we think we have the perfect Will Smith.
It took a lot of work, but we're finally here.
Now, you have to picture that the person underneath the deepfake like, has the same stature, the same mannerisms, right?
It's all about the performance and the personality. So, Will, what's your favorite hot sauce? Red bird. So realistic.
Yeah, it sounds just like
It's
him.
on the performance. Check out how high resolution it is. It looks like the expressions are perfectly captured. Can you show us like a big expression? That's great. So I just want to point out the key to this technology is having the perfect person underneath to capture that performance. So I just want to say big thanks here to our Will Smith impersonator for helping us out.
That's actually.
Oh, it's actually Will Smith.
I was thinking, I'm like, wait a
I figured
minute.
myself out, dude. I figured myself out that time.
Gotcha. Thanks, Will Smith. Appreciate you being in our video.
Super nice guy.
Anyways,
I mean.
if you do like action and you want to see action in a way you haven't seen it before, try to catch the high frame rate screening of it.
I do highly recommend it, absolutely. As a movie, I have critiques, but as an experience, you gotta go see it.
And you know, I would really, really, really like it if you would subscribe, if you're not subscribed already.
Yeah, what is this called?
So this is called a hand pan. It's basically a distant relative of the steel drum.
What?
For those of you who don't know, we actually have a Patreon account which helps support this show, and you can vote on whatever movies you want in every episode.
Came out of nowhere. It's okay though. It's
But we
okay.
also
I
have
like
some
it.
very special patrons that we want to thank specifically today, starting with Bailey Wilson,
Dave Crooks,
Harris Redzpajic,
Oscar Bunting,
Philip Oxford,
Alan Almanza,
Warmaster 236,
Not a Canadian Spy,
Mitch Plensky,
Skinky Snack,
Glitch Cube,
James Bailey,
Brian Antozik, and many more. Big list here, kind of like at the end of a big movie when yeah, they're scrolling. Dude,
that's a lot.
Wait for that post-credit scene. Thanks, Marvel. Please support us on Patreon. You help make this show possible.
I love how they edited this whole video.
Yeah.
They have a lot more fun with the way they edit now.
Yeah.
I don't know who their editor is, but the way they do it, they mess around a lot more. I thought that was a total blast. Dude,
like
they got
it.
Will Smith to actually
Yeah,
do
they
that.
got the real Will Smith. I was looking because I'm like, wait a minute, is that him? Because that's a little too good.
Especially when I heard the voice, I was like,
Yeah.
that sounds just like
I'm
Will
like,
Smith. What the hell?
Now it's not that difficult to do Will Smith's voice. I can't do it, of course, but I'm like, that's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's actually him, and that was him.
But the I Am Mother, I think it was called I Am Mother. I am your mother.
I Am Mother. I think.
Yeah. They were talking about the importance of using practical effects, which I really appreciated because he was talking about how everyone's on the same board of reality at that point, which I actually never thought of it like that because I imagine that when you're doing like these big green screen movies, that it gets to this point where everyone is having to just only use their imagination.
Yeah.
But everyone could be imagining something different.
Yeah.
And then when you got a practical environment, they're all reacting and using the same type of module, so that way they are all on the same page.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. And I think the best use of visual effects, like what we've covered a lot here, with talking about the droid from Solo, a Star Wars story, or with I Am Mother, when you combine it with practical effects and you use digital touch-ups. But I found funny with the droid in Solo Star Wars story that they were pointing out is that they practically end up just doing a complete CGI recreation of the thing.
It was kind of like pointless in the end.
Yeah, it's like there's an argument to be made. It's like, one, you get a better performance out of the actress because she's able to embody it, walk around in a droid outfit.
Yeah.
But in terms of VFX department, you're practically making a whole new droid outfit. So is it even really worth it in the end to do that? It's like giving Mark Ruffalo some Hulk outfit, but you're just gonna CGI it anyway.
Like, so why did he even do it?
So why even put on a Hulk outfit in that case? You know, that's pretty funny to me.
Yeah.
What were they saying about like the slow-mo guys, or how they blew up that section in the mountain?
They put the mountain in like a fish tank and then blew it up in the water to get that real bubble.
Wow,
that blew my mind.
Did they really get inspired by a YouTube channel?
I think they did. YouTube channels are very inspirational from what I hear.
I can't wait to see the reaction movie.
You know what? If there's not one already out, there will be one soon.
Or plays at your local theater through Fathom Events.
It will.
So that
and
way,
they'll promote it. And
yeah. What's the best way to watch Endgame? Watch Drew and Greg watch Endgame in the theaters.
Live commentary.
Big face. Just be silent. We gotta be respectful to the movie.
Oh, very true.
Yeah. Don't make too much noise. Cheer when the hammer's caught, and that's about it. You haven't seen Gemini Man yet, huh?
Not yet.
Dude, you're missing out.
No, I want to see it.
I
I've just been
third.
It's been a little busy, but I'm definitely going this week to go see it.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen our Gemini Man review, I still recommended it because he summed it up best here, the Quarter Crew guys, of that as a movie. There's criticisms. As an experience, it's well worth it because I was at the same screening as them. It was 3D, 120 frames per second.
Man.
And the action scenes in the film are undeniably beautiful. Like, they are gorgeous. And it's only like a third of the movie that are action scenes, but when they're there, I'm like really pulled in. I don't know how the movie would play at home, but I think on that type of viewing level, it is perfect. So I completely agree with him there. And with the Will Smith face, there are times in the movie where it looks completely flawless. I mean, just even looking here, like that looks 100% real.
Yeah.
There are shots in the daylight, especially weirdly towards the end of the movie, like the very last few minutes of the movie, where they have a close-up on his face and everyone just started laughing because it just looks so uncanny. It looked contorted. It looked very fake. It's interesting what they point out about the top upper lip thing. Now I'm going to just look out for that.
I've never looked at that. They kind of ruined it for me because I'm going to be able to point it out now.
And I'm just going to be looking at their lips the whole time I watch a movie, right?
Fake.
I mean, is that true? Your lip doesn't move?
I guess it doesn't. I never paid attention to it, but I guess that's the thing. I mean, they would know. I'm gonna have to just like say a whole bunch of stuff and just look at my lip. Did it move? Did it move? Does it move?
Let's do the next 2 minutes on camera.
Time lapse. A whole hour.
I mean, I'll give it to them on Solo, a Star Wars story too. It's like, I don't even remember that moment. I know you haven't seen it. A lot of people didn't. It's the one.
I actually wanted to see it though.
Well, it's all right.
That's what I keep hearing.
One thing I'll give it though is like the way it looks though and visually, it's still very impressive on that scale. And then one thing that I think Quarter Crew consistently does, and I told this to them, of like why I love their channel, there are things I'll take for granted constantly when I watch these big budget movies or VFX heavy films, because a lot of times it's just like things that last like a second in a shot or a minute in a movie that I'll just completely forget about, or I won't take the time to register this is how much work it took to put into this one little moment in a film. And these guys are so good at reminding me of even the films that are quote unquote like shitty or something. Like something that isn't well received, like Solo, a Star Wars story. When you break down certain elements like what they have done here, I go, oh wait, there's a lot to appreciate in that movie in and of itself. Even with Gemini Man, like I think what they said about movie criticisms versus experience is a great way to put it for a lot of these films.
Yeah, they're so good at what they do. They can pick out everything and make you have like a new appreciation for it. Even back when we saw that Ultraviolet one that they did, they were pointing out things that, and I hated the movie, and I didn't know why I hated the movie, But they pointed out things so that I knew why I hated it. I'm like, yeah, that didn't work for me at all. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
But they're so good at picking out everything because this is what they do. You see everything in a whole new light.
True.
They might have ruined the upper lip thing for me. Hopefully they didn't. I really hope they didn't. But you know, I like what they do. I like what they do.
Very impressive stuff. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Corridor Crew. Subscribe to Struggle Nation. Check out their short film. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell to get notified whenever we got a YouTube video up. And I'm really hungry. Drew has been here for 2 hours, way longer than anyone should be here. Make me a sandwich. Wait. Go pick up some bread.
There you go.